Alright, good afternoon everyone. My name is Kamila and I'm here and I'm going to try to do a presentation on punctuality in Western and Eastern cultures. Alright, before we get into punctuality, there are such things as punctuality conscious culture, and there are also non-punctuality conscious culture, such as Indonesia. In punctuality conscious culture, there are countries like Germany, Switzerland, and America. They live by the culture of the clock. Take the American time is money attitude, for instance. Their equating time with money can be clearly seen in their choice of words, where they spend time, save time, or waste time. Ancient countries such as India and Egypt that have existed for thousands of years evaluate time very differently. They, unlike the Japanese for instance, do not consider minutes, even hours or days, as desperately critical. Punctuality in attending business meetings in countries such as Japan and Germany does not mean coming on time. That is considered late. You need to arrive at least 10 minutes early so that the meeting can start on time. The concept of time defies easy definitions, meaning many different things to many different people. Western countries often perceive time as a critical commodity, an item that can actually be bought or sold. They also normally associate phrases used with money to time. For instance, some Western will talk about saving time or spending time or wasting time. In other words, most Western hate to wait. Many Westerns, for better or for worse, also use punctuality to judge a person's character. For instance, if you arrive on time to an appointment, you may be seen as a trustworthy, dependable person. But if you arrive late to an appointment without calling or texting ahead, it could indicate that you don't respect the other person's time. Many Westerns keep a busy schedule and take lateness as a sign of disrespect. Being on time in Western culture becomes especially important in business and college, where punctuality remains an expectation for professionals and students. If you go to a public event in, say, United States, like a movie, a show, or sporting event, you should arrive at least a few minutes before the scheduled time, or the show will go on whether you are there or not. But luckily, smaller social gatherings such as party at someone's house are usually exempt from this rule. You are not expected to arrive exactly on time, but you should still try to stay within a 15 to 30 minute range of the expected arrival time. This behavior is also known as being fashionably late. Time is seen in a particular different light by Eastern and Western cultures, and even within these groupings assumes quite dissimilar aspects from country to country. In the Western Hemisphere, the United States and Mexico employ time in such diametrically opposing manners that it causes intense friction between the two people. Being late for an appointment or taking a long time to get down to business is the accepted norm in the most Mediterranean and Arab countries, as well as in much less of developed Asia countries such as Indonesia. Such habits, though, would be considered bad in punctuality conscious culture, such as USA, Japan, England, Switzerland, Australia, New Zealand, etc. In the Japanese train system, for example, on time refers to expected delays of less than 1 minute, while in many other countries, up to 15 minutes leeway is still considered on time. There are also a study of the use of time that is called chronemics. It is a study of the use of time and the way that time is perceived and valued by individuals and cultures, particularly as regards nonverbal communication. There are three types of chronemics. type of cultures. One is monochronic, the second one is polychronic, and the third one is variably monochronic. So monochronic is where things are typically done one at a time, where time is segmented into precise small units, and where time is scheduled, arranged, and managed. In such a culture, time is viewed as a tangible commodity that can be spent, saved, or wasted, and a paramount value is placed on regimented schedules, tasks, and getting the job done. This perception of time is probably rooted in the Industrial Revolution of the 18th and 19th century, and the archetypal examples are the United States, Germany, and Switzerland, to which could be added Britain, Canada, Japan, South Korea, Turkey, and the Scandinavian countries. The second one is polychronic. Polychronic is where several things can be done at once, and more fluid approach is taken to scheduling time. Such cultures tend to be less focused on the precise accounting of each and every moment, and much more steeped in tradition and relationship rather than in tasks. Polychronic cultures have a much less formal perception of time and are not ruled by precise calendars and schedules. The arbitrary divisions of clock and time and calendars have less importance to them than the cycle of the seasons. The invariant pattern of rural and community life, and the calendar of religious festivities. Many Latin American, African, Asian, and Arab cultures fall into this category, especially countries like Mexico, Pakistan, India, China, Philippines, Egypt, and Saudi Arabia, and of course Indonesia. The third one is variably monochronic. This is a group of the in-between, if you might say. Countries include Russia, Southern Europe, and much of East Central Europe are sometimes referred to as variably monochronic because they are neither monochronic or polychronic. So, what about Indonesia? Well, time in Indonesia is approached in a very relaxed and flexible manner. Indonesians do not rush through business negotiations and often do not take the time to plan everything in great detail. Punctuality is not always observed, as Indonesians do not like to feel hurried and do not share the Western sense of urgency. The Indonesian attitude towards time is reflected in that time is not money. They may show less interest in profit or material success but prefer to build relationships, such as polychronic. So Indonesia falls into polychronic chronemics. That is it from me. Thank you very much for all. I just realized that I have been frozen this whole time. I'm so sorry. Thank you so much for listening to me. Thank you so much for watching this, and I hope you guys learn a little bit about punctuality between Western and Eastern Western and Eastern culture. Anyways, thank you so much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.